Thank you for inviting me to speak about leadership lessons from the pub. I first met Sheila after a keynote I gave a few years ago. She stopped me in the hall and she said to me, "You know, when you were speaking, a light bulb went off within me." "Tell me more," I said. "Well, I've been the VP of sales now for just over a year, and I'm getting feedback from my boss and the team that at times my responses and my behaviors are a little too reactive. I shut people down without even knowing it, and worse, people are failing to raise their concerns and ideas. If I'm going to be a better leader for myself and for the organization, then I need to change that." That conversation turned into a training and coaching engagement in the organization. And during the next 6 months, we worked on her emotional intelligence by expanding 4 key elements. Firstly, her level to be more self-aware. And secondly, her ability to manage her own emotions, especially when she had been triggered. Thirdly, in her capacity to recognize emotions in other people. And finally, in her ability to maneuver relationships with greater ease. In one of our final coaching sessions, she came in with this huge smile in her face and she said, "I think I finally nailed it." She talked about a project with a really tight deadline that was stressing not only her, but the whole rest of the team. And she was about to go into a meeting where it would all come to a head. But before she went to the meeting, she took a few minutes to check in with herself. And she noticed all this tension in her body and these feelings of huge anxiety. The last thing she wanted was to say something she might regret or to pass that anxiety on to her team, because she now knew that her emotions were contagious. So she turned to a practice she had learned, visualization. And she took a moment to visualize what that meeting would look like. She saw herself being this calm presence in the midst of an anxious team. She saw herself being open to new ideas and being curious and asking questions. The minute she entered the meeting, she could feel the tension in the air. And so she sat down, took a breath, and said, "Look, I know that everyone is under a lot of pressure, but I also know that this team is going to pull through and we're able to work out any problems we have together." One by one, each person made the report, and then it came to Tom. Now, Tom had a history with Sheila of not delivering when it counted. And today was going to be no different. "This timeline is ridiculous." Sheila could feel the tension rising within her. However, this time she was more aware that Tom was one of her emotional triggers. She had anticipated this. And so she reached for another tool called the 7-second reset. And this helped her adjust her mindset, her posture. And instead of saying something to Tom that she would later regret, she asked a question. "Tom, tell me, apart from the timeline, are there any concerns you have about your part in this project?" Tom mentioned something that had come up of which the team were not aware, and Sheila's ability to ask a question calmly in the moment, rather than criticize Tom or to shut him down, helped the team address this critical element. The meeting ended, and 3 days later, the project was finished successfully and on time. Sheila said, "For the first time, I feel I'm actually managing my emotions and not the other way around. It's as if I found a new superpower." Such is the power of emotional intelligence. And just imagine the impact if every leader in an organization had the ability to unleash this superpower.